back at the Sanford Dam. You can see it over my shoulder here. And it's pretty windy today, so hopefully you can hear me pretty well yet. Work has now begun here. They were waiting on a few of the permits to be issued, but now that work has started, we will be checking that out and going to the site very shortly. Before we get this video started though, I want to thank my new Patreons, Robert, Jonathan, Richard, and Peter, and for people sending me letters through the mail. So huge thanks to Richard. Let me turn the camera around now and we'll take a look at Sanford Dam. So my live camera is now mounted up on this dam, right there on the powerhouse up on that pole. So we're able to see all the work that is ongoing over here in the background. Pretty hard to see. You might be able to see a bulldozer way over there in the background. But like I said, we'll be going over there very soon. Looks like a lot of the ice let go. There was a couple fishermen fishing up here. Also, quite a few fishermen like to fish behind the dam. We'll go over there very shortly. But with regards to the live camera, I do want to point out that we almost have enough funds for the C-Cord live camera to be installed. Less than $1,000 to raise yet before I'm able to get a live camera up there on Sanford Dam. Today I'm actually going to be filming on all three of the dams down here to the south. So Sanford, Edenville, and the Tobacco River. And right now I'm gonna go ahead, film on the back side of the dam, and then we're gonna head over there to the site, film that, and then I'm gonna take a short walk down through Sanford Village. Jumping into some of the drone video now. The drone is facing to the south, and it is behind Sanford Dam. I get those switched up all the time, in front of and behind the dam. But this view is behind the dam right now. You can see the little bit of open water where the river is flowing through. Kind of see where the excavator has been tracking around on top of what used to be the earthen embankment. So flying in this direction, the right hand side used to be Sanford Lake, and over on the left hand side used to be the Tittabawassee River, and still is the Tittabawassee River. Right at the bottom of the screen is the emergency auxiliary spillways. Those are in concrete. Those have yet to be cleaned up, and that is part of the work that's going on here. We can see the forms that are in place. When I go over to this side of the job site, you will be able to see these a lot closer. But they went ahead and poured these full of concrete, and we were able to watch all this from my live camera, so it had a great front row seat. And we should also have a great front row seat to watch the temporary bridge go in place here. Now we're over here directly in front of the dam. I was just behind the dam out there on the other side. You can see we have one ice fisherman out here. Looks like it might be a little risky. That ice does not look too thick out here right now. But again, we're able to see this area from that live camera up there. So every now and then I take a pan down here and take a look at how many ice fishermen are out here. We're also able to see this area from the camera that is overlooking the park on this side. See a little bit of the job site over here in the background. We'll go over there right after this. But I'm also going to include all the engineering diagrams and details at the end of this video. I know there's always a lot of people that are interested in the work that is going to be happening here, a lot of cleanup that is going to be happening, a lot of that concrete emergency spillway right there will need to be removed. And right through here is Edenville Falls. You can see the water is flowing through there, through the Tittabawassee River right now. So, like I said, probably gonna jump into some drone video here now, and then we'll head over there to the site and see what work is going on. Jumping back to the drone video now, this is the staging area where Fisher is keeping all of their equipment as well as some of the resources, the riprap and stuff that comes in. So over there on the left hand side used to be the old boat launch that would give access to Sanford Lake, and then over here on the right hand side is the access roadway down to where they are assembling these forms. So they went ahead, put this roadway in a couple days ago. Now that I'm filming this voiceover, they actually have the forms all poured full of concrete, and they are going to be putting this bridge in place on Thursday. So that will probably already be done by the time that I release this video. But you can see Sanford Falls here looking nice and icy. When I head over to this side of the job site, get a little bit closer with the GoPro. Definitely make sure that I'm staying plenty far away from the water though, at least 10 feet away, so that I don't go ahead and fall down in there. You can see they have a mini excavator over there on the left hand side and a larger excavator on the right hand side. And you can see a little bit of that gravel that they have down underneath the forms. Looks like they were putting a lot of rebar inside of these. Have a couple concrete blankets in place. Definitely getting pretty cold out. It's supposed to be -1 out tomorrow morning at the time that I'm filming this voiceover. So definitely going to be trying to keep that concrete nice and warm so that it sets up. And again, here are those old emergency auxiliary spillways. These did fail. You can see where they were undermined from the back cutting that occurred when the water started flowing over the top of the earthen embankment here at the Sanford Dam. We can see Sanford Dam here now at the top of the screen. Looks like they built a little wood staircase to get up here and access the top of the dam. But this will give them access when they have this bridge in place to go ahead, bring an excavator or crane over here and remove these gates and start working on the rollways here at Sanford Dam to start lowering those. Once these rollways are lowered to the correct height, then they can go ahead, redirect the water flow over the top of Sanford Dam and start filling in the earthen embankment where this water, the Tittabawassee River, is currently flowing through. I'm now over here actually on the construction site. You can see some forms being put in place. We'll take a look at those in a little while. But let me pop over here. I stay plenty far away from the water. But we'll have a great look here at Sanford Falls in the wintertime. Actually looks really cool seeing the ice formations freezing up here and the water coming down over the top there. So again, great view of the Sanford Dam back there in the background. They went ahead and brought this roadway down. So they worked on this all last week, bringing gravel in, and this connects right up to the old park and the boat launch over here at the Sanford Lake Park. So this was just to go ahead and give them access down here. I also didn't mention, but over there on the other side of the river, you can see they have the barge in place and a couple excavators. They go ahead and they put that barge in when they want to bring equipment over here. Like the small mini excavator over here on this side, they brought across on that barge and pulled it out probably for the winter time so that it didn't end up freezing over there. I'm sure they could put it in place if they need to move equipment across. But right now, what is going on here is they're setting up the forms. These forms are going to be for a temporary bridge to go ahead and cross the river. So Tittabawassee River is flowing right down through here, right behind Sanford Falls, and they will be pouring this full of concrete this Friday. So by the time I post this video, it's already going to be poured. But make sure you're checking out those live cameras. Like I said, we're gonna have a great view of all this work going on here, and then maybe actually being able to see this bridge set in place. And this is going in place so that they can have access to that side of the river. So once they get over there, they'll be able to clean up that old emergency spillway, all the concrete there, and that will also give them access to the gates. They can go ahead, remove the gates, pour the new weir spillway, and then they can go ahead, fill in this river and redirect the water flow back over the top of Sanford Dam. So again, a ton of work happening here. Really cool to be on site and be able to share this with you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead now, head back to the truck, throw the drone back up in the air. The drone is facing to the north now, probably about 100 to 200 feet in altitude. We will start flying up here to the north. You can see the Tittabawassee River is flowing pretty swiftly, keeping that ice from freezing up. But there is that one lone ice fisherman sitting up there fishing behind Sanford Dam. Now this ice, I'm sure, is a lot thicker with the colder temperatures that we will be getting the next couple of days. But I do want to mention, if anyone is going to risk it and go out there ice fishing, just make sure you're being extra careful. You can see where the water is coming over here on the left-hand side. This is coming from the Sanford Falls area. This is where the breach is. And I will take my drone up here. This may be one of the last times that I'm actually able to fly my drone up through this area, as the next time I will be out there, this temporary bridge will be in place spanning across here. Great shot seeing both these forms on each side of the breach though, and will be pretty easy to see where that bridge is going to be going across. This bridge is being made by Acro, the same company that made the M30 temporary bridge that is still currently in place. You can definitely tell some of the same characteristics. I'll probably pop up a couple pictures of it in a little while. but it is another Bailey type bridge. And here we go, another great shot of the Sanford Falls. We can see how iced up they are getting, and also take a look at the lake bed back here in the background. Looks like there's quite a few red looking trees. A lot of these are cottonwood and willow trees. They're approximately 6 feet in height. Back up here at the top of the job site now, this is the Sanford Lake Park back here. You can see they're putting together a walkway to be able to get across that bridge for access. They have a couple huge I-beams. And yeah, over here we have the old Sanford dock that used to be down here at the boat launch. So that's staged up here. I am not seeing the bridge here yet. So next time I'm here though, that bridge will probably be in place over there, and they'll be getting access to the other side of the dam, and a lot more work happening over there. Back by Sanford Falls again with the drone, I'm going to start gaining altitude and flying towards the village. Again, we can see that small, the mini excavator over here, directly in front of Sanford Dam, resting on the earthen embankment. The forms just coming into view here, and then the rest of the area over here on the right hand side is Sanford Park. So you can see they have another staging area over here. They use that excavator to be able to raise those 3 or 4 barge pieces. Then they can cat those down the old boat launch and place them in the water. Again, they're out of the water right now because you can see how much ice there is there. I'm guessing they just didn't want those getting frozen. And they really only use that to get the boring instrument over there. They did some boring in the earthen embankment, as well as got that smaller excavator on the other side of the dam on that barge. So I'm going ahead. We're flying back towards the village. And looks like someone's burning a fire off there in the background. But it was a nice cold day out today, pretty clear skies. Drone is probably about 100, maybe 150 feet in altitude right now. I'll swing it around and we will take a look directly down Saginaw Road. You can see the wrecker coming down the road right now. That's Cole's Towing. And over on the right hand side is Porty Park. So another great shot. Looking all the way to the east towards Midland. Might be able to see Dow Chemical way off in the background, the water vapor coming from there. Before I walk down through the village of Sanford and give you a tour of that, I do have a few photos that were provided to me. For everyone that was watching from the live camera, this is the telebelt that was used to move the concrete from the trucks into the forms. This next picture is some of the bridge. So this was assembled a few days after. A few more parts of the bridge, and this was manufactured by Acro Corporation, the same company that made the M30 bridge. You can see some of the similarities here. After the bridge was assembled, there were many people that watched this get moved into place on Thursday, but this is how things look the morning of. The forms are in place, but no bridge there yet. The crane is over there on the left-hand side. Here is, you can see some of the approaches, so on each side of the forms. And then again, here is the bridge hoist just starting to happen. The lift. This occurred very fast. All occurred within about 10 minutes, them lifting it to getting it over in place over by the forms. I will be providing some time-lapse video in the next Sanford update I do, but here's just a couple pictures as a little bit of a sneak peek. And yeah, you can see the crane over here on the right-hand side. This was about a 300-ton crane. Sanford Dam way off in the distance on the left. This is view from the west side of the Tittabawassee River that is flowing through the breach area. This bridge will be used to cross over that breach area over the Tittabawassee River to gain access to the west side of the dam. Then they can go ahead, be able to remove the gates, and then start work on lowering the rollway, the spillway, the sill, and able to fill in this area where the water is currently flowing through to be able to redirect that water flow back over the top of the dam. So this photo is showing the bridge in place looking from the west to east side, so facing east. You can see how the bridge is actually anchored to the abutments, and then looking from the east to the west, so facing towards the west. You can see the abutment over there on that side. A lot of that riprap that is underneath the bridge and the Tittabawassee River flowing underneath. And then this was a couple pictures of the deck, so they were going ahead with the crane, flying those into place. And here's a good wrap-up picture at the end of the day. All the work is complete. River's flowing underneath the bridge nicely. And then this last couple pictures, the deck is on. and looks like it's ready to be drove across. I haven't seen anyone drive across it yet, but I'm guessing this will be happening this week on Monday. So make sure you're tuning into the Sanford live camera. There's going to be a ton of work happening here very soon. And then this last picture is just, you can see the Tittabawassee River flowing underneath the newly completed temporary bridge. Let's go ahead now and we'll jump into the quick tour of the downtown village of Sanford. I'm going to take a quick walk through the village again. Right now we're going to start at the Sanford Veterans Memorial and First Responders Memorial. So looking great here yet. Sanford Hardware is open over there in the background. We have Porty Park over here. So this looked really great this Christmas. Probably try to get a couple pictures. Porty Park was filled with a ton of Christmas trees again this year. And yeah, there's a couple left here yet we can see. Not very many though, and I'm sure they looked a heck of a lot better in the nighttime than they do right now during the day. Got a couple Christmas lights still up on some of the trees. Also, looks like they got some security set up here though. A ton of cameras on the area, also looking at the Veterans Memorial, so that's really great news. I know, unfortunately, there has been some vandalism in the area, so hopefully that will no longer occur anymore. Also want to mention that we are almost to 33,000 subscribers, so if you haven't yet, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you've watched this video this long, make sure you hit that like button as well, and leave any questions and comments you have down below. I'm gonna go up here, make a turn, and then we'll head back through the village, see how everything else looks up here. All right, now we are back to the village. So here we are, hardware right here. Welcome to Sanford sign. You can see it is 0 degrees C, 32 degree Fahrenheit. Definitely getting cold out. We have plumbing and heating over here. Looks like we got a couple of construction workers coming down the street. Not sure what they're working on in the city right now. The old pizza place is not open back up yet. We take a look in here though. Looks like they got drywall all up and everything's pretty much mudded, so that might be opening up pretty soon. I have heard though that it will not be a pizza place coming back in there. Over here, the Red Oak restaurant is open for breakfast right now. So I think the only day that they're not open is Monday. So if you're in the area, make sure you stop by. We have Kohl's Wrecker Service over here on the right-hand side as well. And Ellis Party Store way up there, the Marathon gas station. So there's been quite a few people that have came from out of state and visited the Ellis Party Store. So that's definitely neat to hear about those stories. And if you do, let me know in the comments down below. They always love when people stop in there as well and chit chat, learn about a little bit of the Sanford history and what happened here. I'm not gonna walk up any further, but we have CJ's Hairstyling over here on the right, the Auto Valley up there on the right as well, Three Diamonds Bridal up here on the left. Huntington Bank is also still under construction. Maybe I'll run up here real quick. My hands are getting kind of cold, but we'll see how much progress has been made on this Huntington Bank, and then I will head back to the truck. Looks like someone had enough snow here to ride a snowmobile on. We haven't had a whole lot here in Michigan so far this year, but over here on the left-hand side, that Huntington Bank is definitely really starting to take shape. Three Rivers Corporation is doing an excellent job building that, so looks like it will be open pretty soon, actually. Jumping into the last portion of the drone video, still going to go ahead, fly through the village. Hardware down there on the left-hand side. I do want to kind of clarify something. I'm sure a lot of people drive around Dow Chemical and see that big cloud coming out of it and think that is all pollution. That is all water vapor coming out of Dow Chemical. There's been many stories about that, but I know that's just a common misconception, so well, we see that. I will just point that out. Ellis Party Store down in the middle of the screen. And then right here in the very center is that brand new Huntington Bank that Three Rivers Corporation is building. So it looks like things are progressing really well, even from the air. and then Three Diamonds Bridal up near the top of the screen as well. Now's the portion of the video that I'm going to turn it over to the Four Lakes Task Force. They provided a few presentations, an update on the work that's happening at the Sanford Dam this month, as well as the end of this will be an update on the Four Lakes Task Force engineering diagrams and details as to the work that's going to be happening here at the Sanford Dam. A couple questions though that I'm sure people are asking is, why is the water being redirected before the dam is being rebuilt? Right now, the key goal is to eliminate or at least reduce a lot of this erosion. So by getting that water flowing back over top of the Sanford Dam, they're eliminating and reducing a lot of the erosion that is happening through the breach area right now. After that, they can do reconstruction in the coming years to raise that water level. But with this water being redirected through Sanford Dam, the water will remain at its current level that we are seeing right now. If anyone has any other questions or comments, make sure you leave those down below and I'll make sure that I try to answer them. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and until the next one, I'll see you then.
Last, we don't have pictures on Sanford, but if you can imagine, we're doing the same thing. It took us an extra 3 months, given some of this floodplain issues we're going to talk about, to get it permitted. So we're a little bit behind schedule, but we feel like this will be done by the end of summer. It's essentially the same model. We're going to remove the spillways, get a position for the new spill gates, and run an embankment on the west side of the dam to basically bring the water back in if it's needed to work through. We've had two kind of questions. If you're in Secord and Sanford, or Secord and Smallwood, you're asking, why isn't there being work on my dam? And the answer is, we've already done the stabilization and there is work being done. It's primarily engineering work. In these dams, we've been doing the engineering and working on the stabilization of these, as you can see, much bigger projects. And we needed to get the spillway capacity set on the upper two dams before we could work on Edenville and Sanford. So we did the 30% engineering, but now we're staffing up engineering for those projects as well.
What this project really is if you combine what we're doing on the Tittabawassee side with the breach channel with what we're doing on the Tobacco Spillway, it's kind of that merger of this project. So starting on the left side of this page or right looking downstream, we do need to close off the existing breach channel and push flow back through the primary spillway. So what we're planning to do at the spillway structure itself is we are going to remove the upper portions of the barrel arch, which is the upstream portion of the spillway, and the downstream rollway. And we're going to be putting in a new mass concrete weir across all 6 spillway bays. So we'll be taking the gates out, lowering the sill elevation or the invert elevation to regulate or restore kind of the current base level elevation in Sanford Lake, and push that water through the former spillway footprint. And then while we're doing that, we are going to be having a very similar design in terms of the embankment. It's going to be that steel sheet pile along with the eye wall, which would be rock fill on both sides. In addition to that work, we have quite a bit of cleanup that has to be performed. The breach demolished the auxiliary spillway that was in place, moved around a lot of material that was the former embankments, and just a lot of debris that needs to be cleaned up and removed off site. In addition to that work, we are going to restore some of the erosion on the shoreline immediately downstream of the spillway, and then also be removing some of the sediment that is accumulated immediately downstream of the dam. So we are in the permit and design process with this. We're working with Eagle right now to get a permit, to get our contractor on site to start doing this site cleanup before they start working on the spillway. So we're hopeful that we'll be out there here this fall, and that work would go through early spring of next year.
Yeah, and one of the challenges, I think, it's complicated too in terms of the construction to get access to these dams. So yeah, as we see this, so there's actually, I think you can see it in the drawing, but I think it's covered by the label. To be able to get across and access this, we're putting a temporary bridge in. And so that requires a fair amount of, just to do the construction across it. So that's been kind of tying us up a little bit to get all that done. And so it's not that we don't want to start. It's like we got to get all this thing done and done safely and working through that. But we're pretty close now and would expect to start hopefully in the next several weeks and get this moving as well. And then we have the wrong slide next is what we're going to condition. So I think we put Ron, I think we have another, that says Sanford restoration, but as we looked at it, I think it's the Edenville restoration. So we labeled the wrong one on it. So, so you can look at it twice, but it looks the same, but we'll get it out on the website in the next day or so correctly. Sanford, I think the difference is on the timeline in Sanford, it has the same kind of structure, but it does the construction cycle is smaller. And so we think we can get that done 1 year earlier and to work on. So I don't want to go through that because as we looked at it, all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, we got this one labeled wrong. So we'll get that cleaned up a little bit. Apologize for that. So let's move forward on that. We'll get the right one on there to work through. The one though, so that's kind of where we are. Like I said, we'll get those out there. We'll start to measure the aspects of it to work through, and how fast we go on this restoration again is a big function of how we look at the financing. The finance isn't going to bring the construction timelines much earlier, but it certainly de-risks the projects, makes it more affordable, and simplifies what we're doing. But I wouldn't say just takes less complexity out of it. Still remains a complex project.
Thanks for watching, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Also make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next videos I will be posting, and leave your questions, comments, and suggestions below. As always, I just want to give a massive thanks to the people who support me on Patreon. Never underestimate the value of your contribution to keeping this channel going. Thank you.